Well, hello again everybody and welcome to another collection video, and this time this is my Nintendo Wii collection. So a brief moment to talk about my experiences with the Wii. I was always kind of a standoffish guy when it came to the Wii when it first came out. As a person who worked in retail, in electronics, around video games and everything, I was a little confused by the Wii when it came out, when they were talking about the motion sensitive controller and all that. And I watched as it sold like crazy, and I got that dawning realization over the first couple of years of the console that it was selling so well because it was appealing to a much broader mass market, which was both good and bad. I mean, it was good for Nintendo because they had great sales, but it was also a little bad because I think, as we've all kind of seen, Nintendo has stumbled into a bad stretch where they don't really know what kind of a gaming company they are, and most gamers don't really understand what kind of a gaming company they are. Are they wanting to gimmick game? Are they wanting to just peddle something towards older folks and kids, but not really the core gaming audience? It's hard to say what's going to happen with the Wii U because of all that, because even the Wii U has the gimmick of the gamepad. But overall, after several years of the Wii being out, I bought one. It was like late 2011 or early 2012, because finally, after like 6 years, it had enough of a library of games and games coming out in the future that I was able to be like, okay, I can sink my teeth into this now. Not to mention the fact that I got a backwards compatible Wii that would play GameCube games. So as you saw in my GameCube collection video, I was able to reap the rewards of that. Speaking of that, I missed a couple of games in my GameCube collection, so I'm going to show them really quick. These were something I got in a contest winning, and I just realized they were sitting here on my coffee table with a bunch of games instead of on my shelf with the rest of them. But the two games are Amazing Island and SpongeBob SquarePants Lights, Camera, Pants. I have not played either one of these, but they were free, you know, because they were contest winnings, so I'm glad to have them in the collection, and someday I'm sure I'll give them a shot. My daughter will probably like the SpongeBob game because she loves SpongeBob. I also wanted to show off, before I jump into the games themselves, since I have the red Wii, I have the really nice looking red remote and nunchuck that right now are getting mostly used by my daughter because she plays Disney Infinity on the Wii. That's her game, and I'm not showing it off in this collection mainly because I don't really know where the stuff for it is. It's her deal, and she sets it all up whenever she comes over and wants to play it. But as far as the games are concerned, I'm going to show the two games that came with my console, which is the ever omnipresent Wii Sports, which the games in the consoles came in these little sleeves as opposed to a regular retail case. And then there's the new Super Mario Brothers Wii, because the red Wii is a like 25th anniversary commemoration of Mario, so it came with new Super Mario Brothers Wii, which is cool. That's a decent game to have. I kind of like what they did with it to adapt the Wii controls to it. But I do get a little tired of just playing the side-scrolling Super Mario Brothers stuff, so I don't play it all the time. So let's go on into the games here. I got a stack of games and one more big box style game like I did with the GameCube. So the first thing I want to show off is a limited edition Cursed Mountain. I read about this as being a pretty decent horror game for the Wii, good usage of the motion controls. And somehow or another, I think in the same week, I bought two copies of this game. One being this limited edition that's in a steel case, has the discs there and the booklet. I'm not sure if the second disc is something special because of this, because I don't see anything listed on the case to say so. But I also ended up with a regular copy of it, which I traded away somewhere. Next up we have a game called The Blob. This was something that me and a friend of mine at the previous Walmart I used to work at would joke about, just because of its silly name, the Blob. There's a sequel to this out too that I want to get. But I believe it was in Metal Jesus Rock's Wii Hidden Gems video, he covered this and showed off its interesting take on painting the world and using colors, and how it, like, you can fight and save the world using that game mechanic. So I thought it looked cool and found one that wasn't that expensive and picked it up. Next thing that I have was something that kind of stared at me on the shelf while I was at work when it first came out, and eventually I just decided I had to have it. I'm not even a super big fan of Kirby, but when I saw this I was like, how could I pass this up? This is Kirby's Dream Collection. It's to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Kirby, and this game comes with Kirby's Dream Land, which is a Game Boy game, Kirby's Dream Land 2, also Game Boy, Kirby's Adventure, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Land 3, and Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. Along with, it says, some new challenge stages, an interactive timeline covering the history of Kirby, a 20th anniversary compilation soundtrack CD, and 20th anniversary celebration book. All in this, and I think it was only something like $30 or $40. So it seemed very, very worth it to me to pick that up, especially because it's probably something that's going to be moderately rare down the road and hard to get, at least at a decent price. And speaking of decent prices and Kirby game, this is Kirby's Epic Yarn, a game which I have played quite a bit of and I really, really enjoyed it. But the story behind this one is, it sits on the store shelf at my store right now for $50. I bought it off of Walmart.com for like $8. I believe it's still around $10 on the website, but the last few times I've looked at it, it was out of stock. They cleared it out of the website, but it sits in the stores at $50 and doesn't sell. I think it's worth it. I mean, for $8 it's definitely worth it, but I think it's worth it for even more than that. I thought it was a pretty fun game. And the Return to Dreamland is one that I'd like to get one of these days. I just haven't picked it up yet. Now we're getting into a game that's a part of a 3-game series, loosely 3-game series. It was part of what was called Operation Rainfall, which was a campaign by fans towards Nintendo to see not the import, but the translation and release of several Japanese RPGs that came out over in Japan for the Wii, that RPG fans wanted to come out over here, that initially Nintendo or whoever had no intention of bringing over, but the fans voiced their opinions about it and got them brought over. This isn't the first game in the series, but because I'm going through alphabetically, it's the first one that comes up on my collection, and that's The Last Story. This is the game in an exclusive case and a 44-page art book. The exclusive case basically just sort of looks like a book, and then you open it up and it's got the soundtrack and it's got the art gallery book, and I'm not going to take it all apart for this, but it's very, very cool. I have not played any of this one. I know that as each successive game came out, the ratings for them kind of went down a little bit with each game. But I see an RPG, as I mentioned before and many times. I see an RPG on a console that I have that I know is probably going to give me hours and hours of entertainment, and I like to get all over that. Now, here's one of the games that a person would just have to have if you're a Zelda fan. Skyward Sword for the Wii. I haven't played this, of course, but I know it's considered to be a pretty good one, and I just eat up the Zelda games one way or another. This wasn't the version that came with the really cool gold nunchuck, but this does have, I'm not sure how well this is going to come through on there, but it's a soundtrack. It's the 25th Anniversary Symphony CD. It's a special orchestra CD of, I'm assuming, Zelda music. So I did get that version of this game for my collection. Up next is a unopened copy of the game Mad World. I know that this one is considered to be kind of a hidden gem for the Wii, and I just caved in one day and decided to pick it up because it wasn't all that expensive. One of these days I'll check it out, see if it's as decent as some people think it is. I think I mentioned in my GameCube collection video that I was looking to get the third Metroid Prime game. Then I got my collection out and I was like, oh, I already have it. Metroid Prime 3, Corruption. I still want to get the trilogy, though, that has 1 and 2 redone for the Wii and 3 included with it. And also a separate copy of Prime 2. But there it is. Don't have to look for that one. And now this Metroid game I got simply because it was super cheap. This Other M. This game holds a lot of disdain. A lot of people hold this game with disdain over how they feel like it kind of really screwed up, if maybe not necessarily the Metroid series, but the characterization of Samus in people's eyes. I don't know, they say that she's kind of a whiny, almost like teenage girl type in it. I don't know, I haven't played it. One of these days I'll find out. Here I have a game called Muramasa, the Demon Blade, and this is done by somebody that did another game prior, something I think I have on the PS2, and I don't remember if it was Odin Sphere or if it was just that people say that this kind of reminded them of that. So if somebody watches this and can confirm or deny that, I got it because it looked cool and because it was supposed to be made similarly and maybe even by people who made that game. And I really like I like the colorful art. I like just Japanese culture stuff in general. Hopefully that's kind of what that's all about. Alright, now we're coming to game number 3 from Operation Rainfall. The one that I almost didn't get, and then I pre-ordered it, then canceled it, and then went back to my pre-order for it. Anyway, that's Pandora's Tower. Mainly because a lot of people said this was the weakest of the 3. And also a lot of people said after it came out that there was some weird, almost game-breaking glitch. If you do something in particular during the game, you can mess up your game. I'm hoping that by the time I sit down to play this, it's either been fixed, not that I have my Wii hooked up to the internet or anything, or at least there's guides on how to get around it. Next 2 games are Red Steel and Red Steel 2. Back when the Wii first came out, this was one of those games that everybody was like, oh, you've got to get this because you use the motion controls and it'll really feel like you're wielding a blade. And then it came out that it wasn't really all that accurate and didn't really respond all that well. So the Red Steel 2 was released, designed exclusively for use with the Wii Motion Plus, which was an attachment that Nintendo released at first that you put onto your remote, and then later on, a lot of the remotes just came with it built in, as it says here, Wii Motion Plus inside. I don't know, never played it, so I don't know how well that it really works. Earlier this year, when the Tales of Symphonia collection came out, I don't think it's anywhere here close at hand, but it came out for the PS3. I thought it was Tales of Symphonia just done in HD. I didn't realize until I actually got it that it was Tales of Symphonia and Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World done in HD and released on the PS3. So I went to search for both the original and this one online, and of course the original is pricey. This one wasn't so much, so I snapped it up and got it in my collection. Coming down to the last 5 or 6 games here, we have Tenchu Shadow Assassins. Don't know much about this version for the Wii. I just know that the first 2 games on the PS1 were some of my favorite PS1 games. So I'm trying to pick up other Tenchu games along the way. This is a series that I wanted to get all the games that I could for consoles, and possibly the DS games. But this one here is Trauma Center Second Opinion, and I also have Trauma Center New Blood. I think there's one other Trauma Center game on the Wii, and then of course there's Trauma Center games on the DS. They just look like they'd be fun, and maybe a little more, maybe a little easier to perform than Surgeon Simulator. Alright, this is another game that I do believe I picked up recently in a contest that I won. This is Worms, a Space Oddity. I've never been a fan so much to speak of the Worms series, but but I've seen some gameplay recently of some of the newer versions, and I thought they looked kind of interesting. So maybe this will be fun, and maybe this isn't even anywhere close to those games I've seen here lately. It's cool that we're going to end the regular boxed games with this particular game. This is game number 1 from Operation Rainfall, and it's also the one that people seek the most. It's worth a lot when it comes to like eBay and stuff like that. Anyway, that's Xenoblade or Xenoblade Chronicles. Like I said, the 3rd game to come out from Operation Rainfall's efforts to get these localized and translated and brought over to us. And I'm very happy to have this. There are times when I get tempted, like what could I get rid of to go buy this game or go buy that game, and I think, oh, this one would probably get me some good cash online, and I'm like, but there's no way I'm going to get rid of it. And the last thing that I have to show in my collection is set aside because it's a big box game, and I only got this, oddly enough, because I wanted the extra controller that came with this so that I could play my games like Xenoblade Chronicles and The Last Story and Pandora's Tower with an actual controller. But this is the Wii version of GoldenEye 007, and this is the box version that comes with the Gold Classic controller. I'm going to try to put the box down here for a second so that I can grab that controller. This is the controller that I want to use when I go to play those games, and any other games for the Wii that allows for you to just use a regular controller. It's really nice and pretty looking. It's got the black cord, and the end doesn't have anything special on it. But and then of course it's GoldenEye, and anything that has GoldenEye, a chance to kind of replay a different version of GoldenEye is cool. Although I'm trying to seek out the 360 or PS3 version of this re-release because I just think they'll look better on the HD consoles. So that wraps up my Wii collection. I'm not going to be able to sit down and do my DS/3DS games collection today. Perhaps tomorrow. Anyway, there's lots of games out there for the Wii. I'll still be trying to track down at some point in the past, or in the future, not in the past. Unless I get a time machine like Back to the Future and I go snap up some pricey games. But that ain't gonna happen. Anyway, all silliness aside, thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned. I'm gonna try to roll through all of my different collections over the next few weeks. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.